couple of weeks of practice, a couple controlled scrimmages. Do you like the direction this team's headed so far?
I love it. I love this team. I love coaching them every day. I really look forward to it. I like our chemistry. I like our toughness. Really pleased with where we are now. You know, that being said, we play a pretty good team on Friday. But I really like where this team is mentally and physically. You know, I have about 25 practices now. And, come a long way, and I'm really pleased.
Without having the benefit of a real game, what's the biggest improvement that you think you've seen so far out of this group?
Well, in our two scrimmages, we've really guarded well, and we've rebounded well. We've out-rebounded both of our opponents. We've held them both under the 40% field goal percentage. So I really like, we've done two totally different game plans defensively. So I really like, I like defense and rebounding. You know, that's what our program is based on. And we've, in our practices and in our two scrimmages, we've done a good job of that. Now, the downside is we turn the ball over. I mean, we go open up a bakery here. We make enough turnovers. I mean, it's just one of those situations where we got to take care of the basketball because we're coughing it up and giving it up to the other team way too often.
You open up, as you mentioned, with a pretty good team, Iowa State, ranked preseason top 10. Do you like starting off the season right away with such a tough opponent?
No. No. I'd rather have 4 or 5 cupcakes and some wins and some competition. No, I mean, look, it's a great opportunity for our players. I know our players love it, you know, and that's really, college basketball is about the players, it's not about the coaches. And so I know they're looking forward to this challenge and this opportunity, but, you know, as a coach, you never feel like you're going to be ready for that first one. So when you open up with a team like Iowa State, I mean, they start 4 seniors, and the Morris kid's a junior. He might as well be a senior because he's played so many minutes and so many big games. Yeah, their top 7 guys have a lot of experience. They've played in a lot of big games. So they're not, you know, they're going to be used to it. It's going to be a road environment for us and a home environment for them. So heck of an opportunity.
Yeah. I guess your competitive fire, and you talked about the team's toughness, going to be tested right away.
It will be. It will be. Yeah, but I think we're up to it. I really do. And we're going to have to take care of the ball. Again, be on the road. We can't give them. We'll have to guard the 3-point line because this team can really get hot in a hurry, and they can score the ball as well as anybody in the country from a lot of different spots. And the Niang kid is a preseason All-American for good reason. He can pass it, he can dribble it, he can shoot it, he can make plays for himself and for others. He's a good player, and they got other good players around him.
From a crowd standpoint, are you kind of expecting this to be a road game for
Absolutely,
you guys?
Yeah. It's going to be a road game, and we're going to have to play. And again, that's why ball control and us controlling the tempo is going to be so important, and that's where our guard play is going to have to be good. We're going to have to not turn it over. Certainly no live ball turnovers that gives them runouts and dunks and open threes to get the crowd into it. We got to keep the crowd out of it, and you do that by controlling the tempo, limiting them to 1 shot, guarding the 3-point line. They're going to make some shots. We know that they're a good team, but we just got to make sure everything they get they earn and is contested.
Are you anxious to see this team, what they do against adversity? It's great practice.
Yeah, no question. Yeah, and that's really where we'll be tested. And I think we'll be tested right out of the chute, both Iowa State and the Auburn game. You know, 2 road venues. We'll be there's gonna be times where they make a run and the crowd's against us and they're into the game, and we've got to be mentally tough enough to handle that, and overcome that adversity. And again, the good thing about the early games is you learn a lot about yourself. We're going to learn a lot about ourselves this first week.
You settle on a starting 5 yet?
Not yet. We're getting really close. I mean, Josh and Wes, I think, are pretty solid. But we've had some guys banged up and injured, so we got to take a look at that. But again, I'm not too overly concerned with who's starting and who's coming off the bench. We're going to have a rotation of probably 8, 9, 10 guys.
With that rotation, I know a lot of it's dictated on how the game is going, but do you have a general sense or a general plan of how many minutes you want to give this guy or what matchups you want with this guy?
Yeah, we definitely know matchups. In terms of minutes, I think we have a general idea as we go in. That's something we as a staff for the next couple of days we've got to kind of nail down a little bit more. But that can change, and you've got to be ready to have that change because, especially, again with our 2 scrimmages, which is all we have to go by, the way the game's being officiated, it's going to be really tight, and so foul trouble is going to dictate minutes too. And in our scrimmages, the nice thing about scrimmages is guys don't foul out. But we had one guy with 9 fouls in one of the scrimmages. I mean, so obviously that's not going to happen in a game. He's going to be sitting on the bench and either fouled out or in foul trouble. So those minutes are going to be dictated on how we're playing, but also on foul trouble.
Media day, you said you couldn't see why Wesley couldn't be a double-double guy.
I still feel that way, absolutely, yeah. And we've got to get him the ball. We've got to look inside. He has to be aggressive. He's a naturally unselfish player, which I love, but he can score the ball. And Josh is. We're expecting double teams on him. I don't know if they'll come or they won't. If they don't, we're going to go to him. And if they do, it's going to free up guys like Wesley and Josh Fortune and Fletch and Dom and all those guys in the perimeter, George. So we're going to have to make plays off those guys.
In the past, we've seen Wes have some of his best games when Josh wasn't on the floor. Was there work put into kind of those two learning to be at their best at the same time on the floor?
Yeah, they can be. They can be. There's no doubt. Wes's jump shot's really improved. And, obviously Josh is so good on the block that when he's on the block, there's not room for both of them down there. But we've also, Josh's jump shot's improved too. So hopefully we can get Wes the ball down there when Josh is in the game and have a kind of a real true inside out with those guys. And they're good playing together. They're really good defensively playing together. And offensively, they look for each other. They share the ball. And so, yeah, Wes's biggest games have come when Josh has been out because we've needed him. When Josh is out, their production's out, and Wes has to step up. But they can play well together.
Thanks, Coach.
You bet. Thank you.